Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
We'll go ahead and start the meeting. Roll call, please, Zach.
Malaya,
Here.
Estrada,
Here.
Bowman,
Here.
Wayman,
Here.
Zitterkoff. Here.
Okay, Nebraska's Open Meetings Act. For all interested parties, a copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is posted on the bulletin board of the south wall of the council chambers. Notice of changes in the agenda by the city managers. Additions may not be made to this agenda less than 24 hours before the beginning of the meeting unless added under item 4 of this agenda. Citizens with business not scheduled on this agenda as required by state law, no matter may be considered under this item unless council determines that the matter requires emergency action. Can we have approval of the planning commission minutes from August 11, 2025?
I move we approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please, Zach.
Estrada,
Yes.
Bowman,
Abstain.
Wayman,
Yes.
Zitterkoff,
Yes.
Malaya.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go to number 6, the public hearing. A, planning commission to conduct a public hearing regarding a preliminary plat and final plats of lots 1 and 2, block 1, Papa Moon subdivision.
All right, so this is the preliminary plat and final plat for Papa Moon subdivision. It's currently unplatted land, so that's why there's a preliminary and a final. As you'll see, they're splitting off 2 properties from the larger property, and then there'll be a rezone to follow with this. One property has the house on it, the other property has the grape fields and a garage. They're gonna be changed to R1B, which is a 3-acre minimum lot, which both meet. It's in line with comprehensive plan, since it calls for this area to be rural residential. A couple things to point out, they're kind of unusual shapes. So lot 2 has that long driveway, that way it meets code and has the 20-foot abutting a public street. And then that will also be designated as an access easement, so it can be shared with lot 1. And then if you'll see in there too, R1B calls for a 200-foot minimum lot width. And per the definition of that, it's supposed to be at the halfway mark between the front and the back, which is pretty hard to distinguish on these. But both overall have points where they, lot 2, definitely doesn't meet the halfway, but it has buildable area, and lot 1 does too. So even though it doesn't meet the exacts of code, it meets the intent of code in staff's opinion. And then the only other point would be there will be a legal non-conforming structure created with lot 1, as that's where the garage is located, but the idea is for a house to be built there in the future, so the main thing would be that garage can't be added on to until a house is built on the property. With that, staff recommends planning commission make a positive recommendation on approval of the preliminary and final plat for lots 1 and 2, block 1, Papa Moon subdivision. And Troy with MC Shafts here if you have any questions.
Do we have any comments from, would you like to speak?
My first time, I'm not sure what to say. Do you want me up there?
Yeah.
I am Troy Dondelinger with MC Schaff and Associates.
Okay, do you have any comments on this, or?
I don't have any comments. We've been over this
Okay.
a few times. We pretty much got it.
Okay. 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 Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have a closed meeting, and can we have a motion with the planning commission?
I'll make the motion to approve as submitted.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please, Zach.
Bowman,
Yes.
Wayman,
Yes.
Zitterkoff,
Yes.
Malaya,
Yes.
Estrada.
Yes. B, planning commission, a public hearing regarding a rezone of the proposed lots 1 and 2, block 1, Papa Moon subdivision from A agricultural to R1B rural residential estate. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing.
So this is just the rezone of the 2 lots. basically, you know, they both meet the intent of R1B and they're in line with the comprehensive plan. I guess one thing to point out is you kind of notice there's a notch in the property. That's where the winery itself is. That way it can stay in the ag zone. That way it does not become a legal non-conforming use.
Okay. Go ahead and close public hearing. The commission have a motion or any?
I move we make a positive recommendation to city council to approve the rezone.
Okay, we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please, Zach.
Bowman,
Yes.
Wayman,
Yes.
Zerkoff,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Estrada,
Yes. C, planning commission to conduct a public hearing regarding a zoning text amendment to chapter 25, article 12 regarding non-conforming development. Public hearing?
All right, so if you remember from a few months back, proposed change in special use permits to conditional use permits. I was kind of reviewing that, realized if we change that, that's gonna create a lot of legal non-conforming uses because all the references to non-conforming uses are tied to the adoption of the section of code. So that's why I went back to Article 12, which deals with the non-conforming uses. Right now, the way it reads is a non-conforming use is a use that's been in place since before the adoption of the code, which we've kind of used the year 2000 as the rough spot for that, since a lot of them are tied to an ordinance from there. Looking at some other towns, because we kind of run into a problem where we have a non-conforming building or a non-conforming lot, and the current chapter just deals with uses. So looked at Kearney, Grand Island, expanded it to include uses, lots, buildings, and then also off-street parking facilities. And also a big thing would be, we're gonna put in code that the date where a non-conforming use can be determined is February 6, 2000, due to Ordinance 3639, which was the total repeal of Chapter 25 and readoption of it. That way we keep that 2000 date when we do future updates to the code. Because otherwise, every time we do a code change, we're moving the clock forward, and it could be negative to us. For example, we're dealing with one of the mobile home parks on East Overland. It's a legal non-conforming use, and that's kind of a way we have to enforce to make sure they're meeting code. And if we change that date, then it continues to be a legal non-conforming use, whereas we have a little more strength, I guess. We're not creating new ones, I should say. What else do we have here? The non-conforming buildings would help. We ran into an example down on East 8th Street where a citizen bought a house it's not a legal lot of record, but the house is located within what would be the building setback for that zoning district. And he wanted to do an addition to the front, which he had space, but he would only be able to, there'd be a 2-foot notch in his house. So this would kind of help with that, give a little clarity on the situations when we deal with that. And then, let's see, we mirrored some language from state statute and the non-conforming uses. The lots, the only big change really was a lot would not become a legal non-conforming lot if part of it was acquired for public reasons. So I think a good example of that is like East 27th Street, where those houses, Addison and Irwin, they're pretty close. So those would not be considered legal non-conforming lots because it was for 27th Street right away. And then finally, with the non-conforming off-street parking facilities, this was kind of a newly created one that I worked on. We run into a case typically down on East Overland and 3rd and 2nd, where it's older commercial development that's built out pretty much the entire lot. It's zone C3. It's not really in the best interest of the city to zone it to C1 to get rid of the parking requirements. So by doing the off-street parking facilities, that's a way of us having to avoid, say someone wants to put a new use in one of those warehouses. Right now, they'd have to go to the Board of Adjustment and get a variance because they can't meet the parking calculations, whereas this update to the code would at least delay that. So it would allow them to not have to worry about getting a variance unless we get a lot of complaints from the neighbors, and then we would notify them that they have to go get a variance because it's causing special hazards. So just a complete rewrite of Article 12, dealing with non-conforming stuff. Staff recommends Planning Commission make a positive recommendation to City Council on the adoption of the revised Chapter 25, Article 12. And I can answer any questions you guys got.
Okay.
All right.
I have to close the public hearing, and we have a motion by the planning commission.
I move we make a positive recommendation to the city council on the adoption of the revised chapter 25, article 12 regarding non-conforming development.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please, Zach.
Wayman,
Yes.
Zerkoff,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Estrada,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Okay, number 7, staff reports, staff to provide planning commission with update on comp plan.
So we've reviewed the comp plan draft for probably the third time now. They're making some good progress. They're working on the kind of the important stuff to planning and planning commission. They're kind of wrapping up the current land use maps, and then they'll be moving on to the future land use maps. And they're kind of breaking it into neighborhoods, so it's a little different than what we did in 2016. Hoping it to be a little more flexible, perhaps, but still have some rigidity to it. We've met with department heads, kind of go over the respective chapters, have some edits we'll send over to them. And I believe the consultants think they'll be back out in October for open houses on the plans. I think that's optimistic. I would maybe push that back to December or January. But it's coming along, and yeah, hopefully we'll have it wrapped up here by 2026.
B, staff to provide planning commission with update on upcoming zoning text amendment proposals.
This kind of feeds on to just that chapter 25, article 12. I think I have the conditional use permit stuff finalized. We had to go in and change all the zoning districts, so it went from a 18-page code amendment to an 8-page one just from all the text. So that's coming. Also would like to circle back to combining AR and R1B into an RR district, just so there's one less district to deal with. And then we'll also be looking at sign code some more, just to get that kind of cleaned up. So that's all I got for that.
Okay. Number 8, other business, planning commission to recognize Linda Redfern for her service to the community on the planning commission.
So Linda's term ends here September 30th, and I called her to see if she was interested in renewing. She declined, so just wanted to put a little recognition in there for her. So, and with that, being the alternate, I don't know, I was gonna see if anybody else wanted to be the alternate before advertising for the alternate, so I'll send out an email too, so if people who aren't here can think about it too. But, in my other boards, that's an elected position, so we can explore doing that, or if somebody's interested, we can just change it.
Okay. 9, the next scheduled meeting will be October 13th, 2025. Okay, 10, adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You just got here, didn't you?